There comes a moment in every soul's life when the mirror doesn't lie, not the mirror of glass, but the mirror of silence, when the noise fades, when the world stops cheering, when you're alone not with the world, but with your own reflection. And in that moment a question surfaces, a question as old as the stars. Am I becoming what I was born to be? Or am I simply surviving? Most never answer. Most drown it with distractions like screens, food, pleasure, repetition. Most choose the illusion of peace over the pain of progress. Most choose comfort, but comfort is a slow death. It wraps around you like a warm blanket, then tightens like a noose. Understand this: you were not born to be safe. You were born to evolve. The tree does not curse the storm, it grows deeper roots. The lion does not fear the hunt, it becomes more precise. Why then should you run from struggle? Why do you shrink when life grows louder? The caterpillar does not stay in silk because it's soft. It destroys the cocoon from within, tearing it apart to earn its wings. You do not become by staying, you become by breaking. The greatest illusion sold to mankind is the idea that ease is the goal. But look at history. Was Edison comfortable, surrounded by failure 1,000 times before the light bulb sparked? Was Lincoln at ease, carrying the weight of a fractured nation in his trembling hands? Was Disney resting when every studio laughed at his dreams? No, they bled for their vision. They sacrificed their comfort to construct their greatness. And now it is your turn. You say you want to grow, but are you willing to lose who you were? You say you want to rise, but are you ready to fall first? Again and again, growth is not a ladder. It is a furnace, and the version of you who seeks greatness must be willing to burn. Let me ask you this: who are you when it hurts? Not when it's easy, not when the sun shines. Who are you when it's cold, when your name is forgotten, when no one claps, when every step feels heavy and every voice says quit? That is where growth begins. That is where warriors are born, not on stages, not under lights, but in the dark when no one is watching. You must become addicted to the fire, because the fire doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. It burns away the weakness, the excuses, the lies you've told yourself. It clears the path for who you truly are. Let us speak of belief, not the soft kind, not the kind that crumbles under pressure. I'm speaking of the kind that stands in front of a mountain and says, "Move, or I will climb through you." The kind of belief that refused to let Helen Keller be defined by her silence. The kind that let Thomas Edison fail 10,000 times and still whisper, "I have not failed. I've simply found 10,000 ways that won't work." You must believe with that same violence, that same sacred, unshakable violence. Because without belief, your vision rots. Without belief, comfort wins, and comfort is a coward's paradise. Clarity, that's your next weapon, because you cannot hit what you cannot see. Most wander through life like fog, half awake, half hoping. But hope is not a strategy, clarity is. Ask yourself clearly, what do I want? What do I stand for? What pain am I willing to endure for the life I refuse to die without? If you don't know your path, the world will place you on theirs. And you will wake up at 40, 50, 60 rich in regrets, bankrupt in purpose. You must become still. You must become silent, not passive but piercing. Let your clarity cut through the noise like a blade. And once vision arrives, guard it like your life depends on it, because it does. Now comes the sacred partner of vision, discipline. Discipline is not punishment, it is freedom's gatekeeper. The monk does not wake up before the sun because it is fun. He rises because purpose demands consistency. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. When your alarm rings and your body aches, discipline answers. When motivation dies, as it always will, discipline remains. Andrew Carnegie built an empire not with bursts of energy, but with years of focused labor while others slept. Ford didn't change the world with genius alone, but with repetitive, tireless action day after day after day. Discipline is divine repetition. It's the vow you make to your future self: I will not betray you, I will earn you. even when no one sees, even when nothing changes, even when the voice inside says it's not working. Especially then, especially when it's hardest, that's where the seed is taking root. The soil of growth is never soft. It is dark, damp, and full of pressure. But what emerges from it is stronger than steel. So what will you choose? Because every single day you are choosing, you are casting a vote. Growth or comfort, discipline or distraction, belief or doubt. And here's the brutal truth: you cannot have both. You cannot hold the fire and the feather. You cannot walk two paths. Growth demands sacrifice, not someday, not when it's convenient, but now, every day, every breath. Purpose is not found, it is forged. It is not a lightning bolt from the sky. It is a quiet whisper that becomes a roar. Only if you dare to listen. Too many chase passion like it's a finish line, but purpose is not something you feel. It is something you decide. You choose it in the darkness. You choose it in the doubt. You choose it when the world tells you, be realistic, be careful, be small. But you rise anyway. Your purpose is not convenience. It's not a career. It's not a title. It is the fire in your gut that says, I was not born to be average. I was not sent here to coast. I am here to shake the very ground I walk on. And that fire, it demands action. Because thought without action is rot. Dreams without action are lies we tell ourselves to feel busy. So move before you're ready. Move while your hands still shake and your knees still tremble. Action is the sword that carves destiny into the stone of time. It does not ask for permission. It does not wait for conditions. It does not care how you feel. Take the first step, then take the next. Then take the 1,000th until your legs scream and your soul rises to carry you further. You will fall, you will bleed, you will doubt, but remember, so did they all. Nelson Mandela didn't emerge from prison untouched. He came out scarred, weathered but unbroken. He didn't wait to feel powerful. He acted, and through action became power, and so must you. And as you act, the world will respond, not always kindly. It will push back, it will test your will, it will slap you down to your knees again and again, asking, do you still want this? And that's where resilience is born. Resilience is not toughness, it is not anger. It is the quiet, ruthless decision, I will not stop. It is standing up 10,000 times, it is bending but never breaking, it is crying in the silence and rising in the storm. Every hardship is a lesson disguised as pain. Every fall is a question. Will you rise different than you were? Resilience does not mean you don't hurt. It means you heal forward. It means you use the scar as armor. It means you stop praying for an easier path and start training for a stronger you. Look at nature. The tallest trees grow where winds are fiercest. The sharpest blades are forged under pressure. The eagle does not learn to fly in safety, it's pushed from the nest. So what are you waiting for? Another sign, another green light? You already have everything: the breath in your lungs, the fire in your chest, the storm behind your eyes. But don't just survive the storm. Become it, adapt, transform, outgrow the version of you that needed permission, outgrow the one that waited for validation. Outgrow the comfort that once felt like home but now feels like a cage. The world is not asking you to be perfect. It's asking you to be present, to show up every day even when your mind screams no, to keep walking even when your path vanishes beneath your feet. Because here's the truth few will tell you: there is no final destination. No finish line that completes you. No applause loud enough to replace self-respect. Growth is not a goal, it is a way of life, a sacred commitment to becoming endlessly, relentlessly, unapologetically. And in this life you will have to let go of comfort of who you were, of the story you've clung to, because you cannot evolve and remain the same. You cannot rise while holding the past like a shield. And now comes the part where most quit, right here, right now, when it gets hard, when the voice of comfort returns, sweeter than ever, whispering, why suffer, why not settle, haven't you done enough? No, because enough is the anthem of mediocrity, because your soul knows when you are playing small, and because deep down you are not just building a life, you are becoming a legacy, the man who endures hardship with grace, the woman who turns pain into purpose, the human who walks alone until others follow the light they've become. This is not motivation, this is transformation. This is the moment comfort dies and growth is crowned. You must become a student of life, not the kind that memorizes answers, but the kind that chases questions, the kind who looks at every failure not as a wound, but as a window, because every mistake, every misstep, every scar is a page in the manual of your own becoming. True strength is not in knowing, it is in learning. The most dangerous person is not the one who has all the answers, but the one who never stops asking better questions. Do not confuse wisdom with age or experience with ego. The wisest are not the loudest, they are the ones still listening, still adapting, still evolving. Even Einstein, the man we quote to explain genius, once said, "I have no special talent, I am only passionately curious." Curiosity is the weapon that slices through stagnation. Learning is the armor that guards you against arrogance, because the moment you believe you've arrived, you stop walking, and the moment you stop walking, the world outgrows you. Humble yourself to the process. You are not supposed to have it all figured out. You are not meant to know the path, you are meant to build it with your own two hands, brick by brick. Lesson by lesson, fall by fall, growth is not linear, it is messy, it is failure wrapped in discovery. It is a dance between who you were and who you could be if only you stop resisting change. Adaptability, that is the superpower of the resilient. The rigid tree snaps in the storm, but the reed that bends with the wind survives. So bend without breaking. Adapt not out of fear, but out of strength. Do not worship your plans, worship your principles, because the road will twist, the winds will shift, the storms will come uninvited, but let them sharpen you, let them teach you the art of flowing without drowning. There is no shame in changing direction. The shame is in pretending you are alive when your soul has long since fallen asleep. Too many walk dead lives trapped in titles, patterns, comfort, identity, because they are too proud to admit, "This is no longer who I am." Your willingness to begin again, to start from the bottom, to embrace being a fool, that is what makes you unstoppable, because the wise do not cling to what no longer serves them. They shed, they release. They rise again and again and again. You must walk into the fire of the unknown with a heart wide open and a mind sharp as a blade, knowing that no matter what comes, you will not fold, you will forge. And that is what separates the few from the many. That is what builds kings from beggars, warriors from wanderers, legends from the lost. It is not talent, it is not chance. It is the decision made in silence. I will not betray my potential. I will not die with my music still in me. And now you're ready for the final test, because the mountain is in sight, the blood has dried, the old you has burned away, and standing in the ashes is someone new, but the mountain does not care who you were. It only responds to who you are right now. So climb like your life depends on it, because it does. Climb not to prove them wrong, but to prove yourself right. Climb with the gratitude of a soul who still has the chance. Because here in this moment you are not owed another breath, not another sunrise, not another second, and yet here you are, alive, awake, capable. You could have been anyone, but you were given this body, this mind, this moment in time. So use it not for comfort, but for contribution, not for praise, but for presence. Your life is not yours to waste, it is yours to wield, and greatness does not come in flashes, it is carved in sweat, sacrifice, and the 1,000 invisible choices made when no one is watching. That is how warriors are built, that is how greatness is earned. You are not here to drift. You are not here to hide. You are here to rise, rise above doubt, rise beyond pain, rise past the stories you were handed and write your own. Because when the dust settles and your name is but a whisper in time, let them say you chose growth. Let them say you refused comfort. Let them say you walked through fire and became the flame itself. This is not just a message, this is a mirror, and now the only question left is, what will you choose?